All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is all I'm going to do on this Gucci Man subject. After watching me and my wife set up and watch that just to see what was going to happen, and pretty much everything that we thought was going to happen happened. So in the beginning, I'm going to tell you out front, this is going to be a long video. It's a video-mentary, not a documentary. It's going to be well over 40 minutes, and I know a lot of you guys ain't going to like it. Some will agree. But what we witnessed last night on that free stream, which people that actually was there should have got in for free, because it was complete trash. And I mean utter trash, okay? So what you're going to see in this video, this is a warning. I'm telling you, if you a Pokemon Gucci fan, you know what I'm talking about. Y'all following that game around mindlessly, just like y'all going to follow this dude around mindlessly. The comment section was 50-50. Some people said the concert was the best thing they ever saw. Some people felt like it was complete garbage, just like I felt. So there's going to be a lot of different things in this video that you're going to be looking at. But like I said, after this, I'm through. I'm done. I saw all I needed to see last night to know whether you say he a clone, whether you say it's him, but he could be under MK Ultra. Whatever we looked at last night, okay, is not the same Gucci that went to jail 2013 and before that. It's not the same dude, and it's clear that it ain't the same guy. So if you didn't watch that concert on Revolt TV, you can go online and check it out. They're restreaming it back to back to back. But again, so after this video, we're going to get into some other stuff. The evidence is clear for me, so I just put a compilation of things together for you to look at. It ain't the gospel, it's just theory. And for those of you who not gonna like this video, I'm telling you right now, don't watch it, because I know you're gonna be talking crazy in the comment section, which happens on a lot of other folks' videos, because you just want to believe that your Lord and Savior is back and his name is Gucci. But this ain't the same dude. So for me, this is it. I'm done. I don't need to look at nothing else. No matter what else happens with this cat, it won't be no surprise, because everything we needed to see was on stage, and it was terrible. Deuces. All right, guys, we're going to talk about this real quick before I get into the Imposters concert that was held last night at the. For those of you, this is your Lord and Savior. This is your new Gucci, as Jamie Foxx called Barack Obama his Lord and Savior. So for those of you who feel this way about this guy and you think it's the real Gucci, so me and my wife have been researching and just studying. She brought up some interesting points that in this interview, he says a couple things. And if you read between the lines and you look at all the hoax, fake death reports that came out, is there something that's being hid? Again, I still go back to that Terre Haute registry number not being correct. And then when I looked at what happened last night on stage with this guy compared to how it used to be, I mean, some stuff, they put stuff out there and then retract it and say it was fake. But nobody audibly heard from Gucci after the fake reports came out that he was found dead. Nobody heard from him. All you got was a Twitter post that he said it wasn't real, and then people coming out debunking the information. So just check this out, what he had to say.
Prison, and people were dying every week. It was a lot of death, a lot of violence. I'm a celebrity, but at the same time,
let me back that up one more time.
Every week, it was a lot of death. It was a maximum security prison, and people were dying every week. It was a lot of death, a lot of violence. I'm a celebrity, but
so he said he was in a maximum security prison. He didn't say though where he was. He didn't say Atlanta, double RM. He just said he was in a maximum security prison, and there was a lot of death and a lot of violence. That's what he said. This is what your Lord and Savior fake Gucci say, right? So as we started to listen to that, and it came to mind, how this guy be so special. And if he said there was a lot of death and a lot of violence, maximum security prison, and somehow he survived all of that, is he telling you that the real Gucci was really killed? This is just a theory. It's not. I'm just saying it's just a theory. Okay. So let me show you something. All right. Now, talk about the timeline first, because a lot of people are really not paying attention to this. And as he said in his own song in 2010, the labels are trying to clone him, but people wasn't paying attention to that, and that was in 2010. So look at the date that the fake death hoax were coming out. Okay, look at the timeline. All right, a lot of people reported on it, and they said, oh, that was fake, wasn't real, he wasn't really found dead in his cell. June 2014, okay, that's when the report came out. Now, supposedly in 2013, he deleted his Twitter account, but you in maximum security prison. I'm not going to say if it's not true or not. They let you have internet access, okay? You can get online in maximum security prison, okay? But you can get online and access Twitter. Y'all need to do some investigation on that and see if that's true, okay? Look at the timeline. Now, again, all this was supposed to have been a fake hoax. He wasn't really found dead, okay? That's June 2014. Now, if you come over here and look at what he reported about people being able to write him in prison, look at the date. That was in June. Now all of a sudden he pops up again after he deleted his Twitter account. Now we in December 2014. Now here's how the elite work. If they really wanted to use this guy, if he's, God rest his soul, God forbid if the real Gucci is really dead, but this is the timeline theory. 2014 December. Now of course you can see he has updated his avatar with those LGBT colors in the background, but he's in Terre Haute. All right, now if we take that again, June, it surfaced, then they said it was fake, he wasn't found dead. First it was said that he had a heart attack, then they said somebody came in and killed him. Of course, if you go back further than that, hoax reports said that he was raped in prison, which they tried to debunk that and said it wasn't real. So I'm just giving you guys a theory, okay? So this is his Terre Haute. Now, again, his lawyer, Drew Findling, told the media that he was released from prison in Terre Haute, Indiana. But that's contrary because, again, he's supposed to be on house arrest in Atlanta, and that's where he was released at. But his own lawyer. So this is a mass cover-up, and the fake Gucci is in on it, okay? So, again, why would he put out, his fans can write him in Terre Haute, Indiana, right? Now, take that registry number, and let's copy and paste, okay? So we're going to copy that. Let's go to Terre Haute, because this is the main thing that, and especially with his performance last night, it was complete garbage. Let's click on Find Inmate. Okay, now let's use his number. Let me move my timer down. Okay, so let's paste. This is Terre Haute. Okay, this is where supposedly publicly put out on Twitter in a maximum security federal prison, which again, y'all got to find out if you're in maximum security, can you have internet access and get online? Okay, 2014. So you click on search. Now, Roderick Davis. This is what it pulls up. That was the Terre Haute federal prison link that we was on. And look what it pops up. Roderick Davis has him located at the Atlanta R. And right now, currently, if he's still alive, that's where it got him located at. Okay? It doesn't say house arrest. But his lawyer, Drew Findling, once again told the media that he was released from Indiana Federal State Prison. And he got a crib just outside the city where he is serving out his 3 to 4 month house arrest. But how can that be? And how can you serve time in 2 different states at the same time? And then be released and serve house arrest in 2 different states at the same time? It's something that don't make no sense. Okay? When you add up everything. All right. Now, to further back that up, as I did in some of my last videos, let's click on inmates again, and let's click on visiting. So if you want to visit an inmate that's in prison, again, it's going to ask you to put in their inmate registry number. And we're going to put that back in. This is the one that he posted on his own Twitter account back in 2014, December, which was months after the fake Gucci Man death report. So let's search. Click search again. Roderick Davis, registry number, there you see it, is currently located at the RM Atlanta Federal Prison. So if he ain't dead, is the real one still locked up? And they put out this Pokemon Gucci 2.0 tofu dude who they're trying to commercialize, because that performance last night was garbage. Okay, you're going to see it here. This is the beginning of the video segment. So who is this locked up right now? My wife said that's number 2. Now you remember, guys, that I showed you before the first video I did that he was wearing a number 2 on his shirt, and again people looked right over that and didn't think nothing of it. Okay, so who is this locked up right now? God forbid he ain't dead. Somebody said, well, he could have been transferred from Atlanta Federal Prison. That's not what none of the media says and the outlets say. He was sent from Fulton County Jail to Atlanta Federal Jail. So how did he end up in Indiana and then be released in Indiana, okay, and doing house arrest just outside the city? That's what his lawyer said, okay? So his lawyer, the fake Gucci's in on this, because the fake Gucci story coincides with the lawyer story when he posted his registry number and the address to Terre Haute. So who are we looking at right now? This is a scam by far, and you'll see the differences if you didn't watch the free concert last night, because that's what it should have been for the people who attended. It should have been free. I hope they ain't pay money to watch that garbage concert last night. And I go on the record and say I told you so. Okay. Now again, Ticketmaster has this guy going on tour September 23rd, just 3 days after this registry number is up, when he gets out in September 20th. But on Ticketmaster.com, they're not using the current Gucci's face. They're using the old Gucci's face. Okay, so what's going to happen in between now and then? Some people say, well, you know, he on house arrest. That don't mean nothing. Obviously, he left the house to do a concert at the Fox, and then he don't make no more public appearances for the whole month of August or September. So do the math.
Because a lot of people don't like stuff. But ATL is considered to be the gay capital of the world right now. And y'all got clubs over there with boys standing in the parking lot kissing on the mouth. And you know, if you gay and you out of the closet, that's cool, because everybody got their preference. But man, it's time to start cleaning up our own neighborhood, because the dude from Texas shouldn't have to get on in no magazine to make you clean up your neighborhood. So if I really wanted to diss Atlanta, it was a bunch of things I could have said about a bunch of people, and I could have really, really dissed and hurt some feelings. Now, don't you know that?
Yes, sir.
Because I know who the gay rappers is. I know who let them models stick them dildos in them, and I know who did what, where, when, and why.
Wow. Do you feel like expressing that right now?
Yeah,
You didn't know?
Say this again.
If you feel like saying it, go ahead.
Say this again. I'm proud of all the rappers in the South. I'm proud of everybody selling records in Atlanta. But everybody ain't my friend, and I don't like all y'all records. Now, if you want to diss me and get on with me, down and do it. But the difference between me and them other dudes is this. You gonna diss me, and I'm gonna come see you, Jack. You gonna diss them other dudes, and they gonna play lip wrestling with you. So if you want it, man, come on with it. If you want it with me, come on with it. Leave burn out of it, and we gonna see in the end, because you gonna smell my cologne. Yaki on some bar number 9, because I do not play.
That's the same clone I wear.
Yeah, the sanctuary, because we keep going first in everything we do.
Hey, Pimp.
Yes, sir.
Do you mind expressing any of those rappers you was talking about? Them sugar sausages? I want to know. Them gay rappers you know about?
Nah, man, it's no need to embarrass nobody that ain't done nothing to us.
Respect.
But if you gay, man, and you ashamed of it, you need to stop doing stuff you're ashamed of. Anything done in the dark gonna come to the light. I ain't gotta expose them, because they exposing themselves every day and every night. But see, you work at a radio station, and it's your job to ask me that question. And me being a real person, it's my job to know how to answer it, ain't it?
What's up? All right.
Okay, so if you gay and you rap and you ain't and you stand in the closet, then you need to come on out of the closet and let us know who you is. Because if you ain't proud of what you do, then don't do it. And if anything you're ashamed of, you shouldn't be doing. You know who gets caught in the Range Rover with the boy. You know what's going on in Atlanta, just like I know. You know who got caught in the Range Rover with the boy. Okay?
No, I don't really.
Okay, you know. Because if I know, you know, because you in Atlanta.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
So let me say this. All the real street people in Atlanta and all the hardcore UGK fans, I hope I have clarified what I meant by that statement.
All right, that's
Anybody
all.
else that don't like me or still want to hate on me, come on with it.
I think
Cause
all
I
in
said you don't want it with me.
I think all in all, your fans in Atlanta just still want to know that you love them. That's all.
Hey man, guess what? I used to live in Atlanta. If I wasn't on parole, I would still live in Atlanta, and I still would have made them statements. And I'm coming back to Atlanta as soon as somebody book me a ticket to come there and do a show.
Couldn't get leaking, just another swag shoot. They gon' try to clone me, but ain't no way to clone me. I bought so many swag shoot. They gon' try to clone me, but ain't no way to clone me. I bought swag shoot. They gon' try to clone me, but ain't no way to clone me. I bought so many people that my family disown me. Swag shoot. They gon' try to clone me, but ain't no way to clone me. I bought swag shoot. They gon' try to clone me, but ain't no way to clone me. I bought so many people that swag shoot. They gon' try to clone me, but ain't no way to clone me. I bought so many people that my family disown me. Swag shoot. They gon' try to clone me, but ain't no way to clone me. I bought so many people.
And ended up in Antarctica or in Swaziland, and then died a few years ago in Brazil.
That's what we heard. That's
I
what we heard.
have all the documents from our own government.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a contact. One of our
Stalin
colleagues.
even, Stalin asked her to, they tried to bring the body, he got the body back, and he said, we had different ears, and the testicles were different and everything else, so they knew it wasn't Hitler.
But is it a clone or not?
No, now you know going about cloning. Cloning techniques, since 1938, they've been making clone people. There's 8 countries making clones. I have a doctor friend
but
that
I
all
wanna
he
know
does
where
is
you-
treat the clones.
Where do you get your information?
I get it from some of the people that are willing to come forth, and they talk to me because they hope I'll put the information out, because they always got 2 people following them and they need to be killed. If I start talking about cloning too much, the people that get involved into that disappear on it. So I don't go into too many more details, but there is information that's available, and more and more of that's coming online. I just told you, go rent the movie.
Okay, Voice from Brazil.
Yeah, and you'll see the whole technique on what they show it to you in different places, so you can imagine what it's going on.
Okay, so...
Now, let's go to the next step, because this is the most important part.
All right.
If your physical reality that you have, based on this physical life that you have, this dream, is made up of the experiences that is impregnated on your body and in your mind, consciously, right? Your soul memory is another thing. It goes back whatever time that you elected to be in this incarnation for whatever reason. Now let's show you the division on these things. Since the body is very physical, and we just got you making a physical being in a few months for spare parts, they said, now we've got the perfect deal, how can we have that work better? Well, if you go to the hospital today and get an encephalogram, what's that? That's the memory of your conscious mind. It's on the CD, it's downloaded on this being. Now we got a walking, talking duplicate that has the total memory that you have, because we just took it off of your own mind.
Okay, it's like Blade Runner, the android.
Exactly. The only thing is that it's like this DVD recorder. Sometimes you have glitches in it, so you have to have them tuned up occasionally or redone. And so we take them to Camp David, or there's a wing at Bethesda Hospital to just tell you. If you go down there and check, you'll find the nurses, if they're willing to come forth, they'll tell you they work on those people, and they call them the others. I thought it was interesting. They're people. Remember, these people can think and act, but they don't have soul. That's also prophesized.
Right,
Soulless
that's
beings.
true. That's true.
Now, we have another agenda that's going on, so you have to be careful of all this. There are many extraterrestrials that would like to be in on the game right now, so they can sometimes will come into these physical beings that we've made to manipulate them.
I see.
So now you
I raised my hands up, and it was kind of, remember, right before I performed, I raised my hands up, and it was kind of the first time I felt something else come into me, and I knew that was going to be my coming out night.
Mm-hmm.
so they can sometimes will come into these work better. Well, if you go to the hospital, and so we take them to Camp David, or there's a wing at Bethesda Hospital to just tell you. If you go down there and check, you'll find the nurses, if they're willing to come forth, they'll tell you they work on those people, and they call them the others. I thought it was interesting. They're people. Remember, these people can think and act, but they don't have soul. That's also prophesized.
Right,
Soulless
that's
beings.
true. That's true.
Now we have another agenda that's going on, so you have to be careful of all this. There are many extraterrestrials that would like to be in on the game right now, so they can sometimes will come into these physical beings that we made to manipulate them.
I see.
So now you have a combination effort that you have to look at, and discernment. You have to discern what the game is. Well, just figure that most of the leaders we have in the world
come into me, and I knew the first time I felt something else come into me, and I knew that was going to be my coming out night for the.
but the so-called elite are selecting on who they want to have around anyway, so we want to keep people going as long as we can. I talked to the doctor that was working on regeneration of Castro, for instance.
Right.
That's coming on the line. I just told you, go rent the movie.
Okay, Voice from Brazil.
Yeah, and you'll see the whole technique on what they show it to you at different places, so you can imagine what is going on.
Okay, so...
Now, let's go to the next step, because this is the most important part.
All right.
If your physical reality that you have, based on this physical life that you have, this dream, is made up of the experiences that is impregnated on your body and in your mind, consciously, right? Your soul memory is another thing. It goes back whatever time that you elected to be in this incarnation for whatever reason. And let's show you the division on these things. Since the body's very physical, and we just got you making a physical being in a few months for spare parts, they said, now we got the perfect deal. How can we have that work better? Well, if you go to the hospital today and get an encephalogram, what's that? That's the memory of your conscious mind. It's on the CD, that's downloaded on this beam. Now we got a walking, talking duplicate that has the total memory that you have, because we just took it off of your own mind.
Okay, it's like Blade Runner, the android.
Exactly. The only thing is that it's like this DVD recorder.
What was put in it. So, getting back on point. Now, when they used to clone people back in the day, they would have to wait until the clone lived an entire life expectancy, which means if you're 40 and I clone you, I gotta wait till you die and really wait 40 years for this clone to become the exact age that you were. And not only that, they didn't have the technology to educate the clone. So they would have to literally re-speak to the clone and re-educate it verbatim. Now, they got technology like in the Dulce underground cloning base in Mexico, which is the actual base of where they clone people. It's spelled DULCE cloning facility in Mexico. Look it up. Now they got technology where they have what you call test tube babies, where now they don't even need the woman to put the egg back into the woman for her body to generate it and for it to come out the womb. Now they got a tube where they actually not only can fake nurture you inside as if you have a mother, so basically you have technology that can be your artificial mommy. Not just that, they can accelerate the growth process of the cell. This is called cellular acceleration, the cellular acceleration process. They can actually speed up how fast your cells grow and make you 40 years old again in a week.
Because your cells have memory. Remember, when they took the cells out of your body, your cells remembered actually aging for 40 years. So all they're doing is reawakening the memory of that cell at an accelerated rate, and the cell begins to grow into its 40-year-old self again because it already did it once, so it remembered how to do it. So they are genetically manipulating material that they extract from the DNA. So now, once the cell gets 40 years old, now the cell looks exactly like the person that it was just extracted from. So what happens was, this is where MK Ultra comes in. They have a program called Mind Uploading. Go look it up. Mind Uploading. Mind, M-I-N-D, Mind Uploading. What they do is they hook all these neurological transmitting wires to your mind. And they actually hook them at certain quadrants of the brain, because we know that different parts of the brain control different parts of the body. And what they do is they actually go inside your conscious and your subconscious mind, and they download every thought, every piece of memory that you've ever had since you came out the womb, all the way up into the time they cloned you, and they store it on a holographic computer. The same way you can store your voice on music, the same way you can store, the same way I'm recording myself with this camera, is the same way they store your motherfucking mind. And what they do is they go with the clone, they hook the clone up to this mind downloading machine, and they actually download the thoughts into the mind of this clone. So not only are you 40 years old again, now the clone doesn't even know it's a clone, because the last thing that was on his mind before they cloned him, or him or her, is exactly back on his mind again. So if they kill you, kidnap you, whatever they do with you, once they clone you, you won't even know you clone, because if you was thinking about I want a bag of chips, that's all still on your mind when they clone you. To you don't know that you was just cloned. So, I mean, the clone doesn't know it's just cloned. So what happens is, as I broke down.
Now, this brother that you're looking at, this young Pharaoh, he's one of the brothers that's in the conscious community. Go look those brothers up. They are Kemetic folks. Him, Sarah, Suit Seti, Sadnetta, the Amin Ra squad. You know, I don't agree with everything they say, but they do make a lot of sense on a lot of stuff they're talking about. And as you just segued in from the last 10 minutes, as he said, the clone doesn't even know it was cloned. And one thing that I found very striking, and they took the video down off of Facebook, when Gucci was, or the fake one we're looking at now, when he was doing a live mentions, and it was the night that he released his CD, people was commenting in the section, and he didn't want to read it because you could see it on the screen that they were calling him a clone. And then he finally read one out loud, and he said, yeah, such and such is calling me a clone. He said, I didn't know I was a clone. I thought I was the real one. That's what he said. So I tried to go back and find that video, but they since took it down. And in that video, again, they was talking about all the songs they wanted to release off the CD. And again, they was calling him a clone. He finally answered one, and he told somebody he didn't know he was a clone. He said he thought he was the original. So there might have been a lot of damning evidence in that video. It's probably the reason why they took it down off his page. So this is Young Pharaoh. Now over here is George Green, and this is information. So those of y'all don't think this is real, cloning ain't real, MK Ultra is not real. It's too much evidence out here to support it. Many people out here have done the research on it, and these are two people who don't even know each other, but they spitting out the same kind of knowledge. So I'm gonna let Young Pharaoh continue to talk. So listen up, listen to the young brother. He got a lot of knowledge.
You have 4 nervous systems. You don't just have one. You have clone up to this mind downloading machine, and they actually download the thoughts into the mind of this clone. So not only are you 40 years old again, now the clone doesn't even know it's a clone, because the last thing that was on his mind before they cloned him, or him or her, is exactly back on his mind again. So if they kill you, kidnap you, whatever they do with you, once they clone you, you won't even know you clone, because if you was thinking about I want a bag of chips, that's all still on your mind when they clone you. To you don't know that you was just cloned. So, I mean, the clone doesn't know it's just cloned. So what happens is, as I broke down, you have 4 nervous systems. You don't just have one. You have the cranial nervous system, which is your face, your head, everything in your cranium. This part of your nervous system, family, controls your eyes, your nose, your lips, your tongue, your jaw, anything neck above. Cranial nervous system, cranial. Then you have the peripheral system. This controls anything that is to your peripheral. like your arms, your shoulders, your legs, all of that, all of those type of ligaments in the body. Then you have the autonomic nervous system. This controls all the organs in the body or anything in the body that happens automatically without you consciously having to give it command, such as your lungs, your heart, your liver, your bladder, etc. All three of these nervous systems are controlled by the central nervous system, which is the spine, the brainstem, and the brain. And all of those are controlled by the pineal gland. So why is this important? Because the pineal gland is basically the headquarters of the nervous system, which controls all the other three nervous systems of the body. So if you want to take over somebody's body, what organ do you go for? The pineal gland. What they do is they insert a microchip on your pineal gland, and they emit thought signals and imagery to you, which influences you. So watching TV is actually MK Ultra at a miniature level, and this is how they're able to brainwash the masses, because television,
Pokemon.
vision, telling you what to vision, television. Just like telepathy. Telepathy is thought transmission from one mind to another, and you receive the signal. Television is visual thoughts from one mind to another. So they're actually simulating an artificial reality through the TV and telling you to envision that, and we are manifesting that destruction in our lives. The microchip that they plant in your mind, on your pineal gland, they do the same thing. They have a machine in Europe and in America as well, where they emit thoughts and emit signals to the minds of the now cloned person, or the person under MK Ultra program. And this person, you only can act on what they think. Like I broke down in one of my other videos, family. You can't experience something if you can't think it. If somebody never told you that you can do a backflip and you never seen nobody do a backflip, you would never conceive the thought that it was possible, so you would never try to do it. So you would live your entire life never experiencing a backflip because you never conceived the thought. So the point I'm trying to make is you act on your thoughts. You only can experience or do what it is you think. So what happens is they take the clone and they emit thoughts to the clone, and the clone begins to act on these thoughts. So if they tell the clone, I hate this person, then the clone becomes angry. And then they tell the clone, they emit a thought to the clone, I'm going to kill this person. Then now the clone is going to act on that thought. So what they do is they send the clones on dummy missions to kill people in the public and do all kinds of things, or a lot of celebrities as clones still to this very day at this second, and they control them like puppets. And this is what cloning in the MK Ultra program is all about. So we have to understand that cloning is very real. And they got a mosquito now. See, they got biological robots. And what a biological robot is, when we think of a robot, we think of something that's basically metallic and wired. But biological robots is basically something that's borderline humanoid, but it has no soul, and it has an artificial intelligence. So Siri would be a robot on the phone. But if they gave Siri flesh and made her biological, she would be a biological entity. So any type of biological robot is called an EBE, an extra biological entity, or a BE, a biological entity. So why is this important? Because they're creating biological entities with technology. They have a biological entity that looks like a mosquito, and what it does is it comes and lands on you and it bites you and it extracts your blood, and they take your blood back to the cloning facility and they clone your ass, and you never even knew. You wouldn't even know you was a clone. You don't even know if they got a clone of you. So they'd clone you and then have your clone go kill up a mall and then put a warrant out for your arrest, and the whole world be thinking you did that shit and you have no clue. Just like them people when they flew 9/11 into the airplane and they said they put that man picture, they put one of the terrorist pictures on the news saying he flew the plane into the thing, and he was on the news the next day. I mean, he made a video the next day, put on the internet saying, I didn't fly no plane into a building, I'm right at home. So we can't believe everything the media tells us, because the media is owned by the fucking Illuminati who's cloning people. So to get back on point, this is why we got to stop donating our blood, family. When you go to the doctor and they be talking about, oh, your kids need a physical, give us some blood, or these motherfuckers are always eager to just take our blood and take our shit. Hell no, because they doing shit with it they ain't got no business doing. These motherfuckers is not being right. They not being righteous with us. They taking our blood, they cloning us, they learning how to make shit to survive under the sun. They doing all kind of sick and twisted shit, family. So we gotta leave this system alone. But I don't want to keep this video too long. But that's just a minor understanding of cloning and how it works. That is how they clone people. That is how they mind control people. Like I always say, family, do the research, look this up, educate yourself, and understand that we are in a world that is artificially controlled by the Caucasian, who is a devious ass puppet himself. So they're cloning people, and they're allowing demonic spirits to manifest in people as well as reptilians. So you have to understand that this what you think is reality is actually a lie, and what you think is a lie is actually reality. And with that being said, family, open the pineal gland, use your third eye vision, and let's get our planet back in a righteous manner, and let's get back on top as the gods and goddesses, so that we can destroy all wickedness on our planet Earth. And with that being said, peace.
Say I told y'all so, but what me and my wife witnessed last night on his live free streaming concert was truly epic. I think it was an epic failure, and what they successfully done last night wasn't a homecoming concert celebration to release his new album, even though he had guests. Quite frankly, they outperformed him. Crowd really didn't get hyped until Drake and 2 Chainz came out there, and they basically saved the show for him. It was pretty epic. As you see on this picture, what they have successfully done is totally transformed 2.0 Gucci commercial. He came out wearing Michael Jackson sequence jackets, as you see on the picture here, something that Gucci never done. His performance was really lackluster compared to, if all you got to do is just go back and look at all of Gucci's older performances. And the crowd was so dead that the comment section was having just a field day on how dead the crowd was. And I think people just showed up just to see what Gucci they was gonna come and see. And DJ Holiday, he just kept having to instruct everybody to get loud, to get excited. But there wasn't nothing to get excited about when you see this guy just walking around back and forth. And here we got a video comparison. I'm gonna show you exactly what I'm saying as you watch the old Gucci versus the new guy, which I think is an imposter. My wife said when she was watching it, she said if it is him, they cooked his brain so bad that he forgot who he was. But to me, I think he's an imposter. I mean, big time. I mean, that's the other jacket he had on. I mean, you never seen Gucci wear that kind of clothing, okay? Never. And most of the time when Gucci performed, just like any other black rapper, even Michael Jackson, you know, they all grabbed themselves. This dude, none of that happening. He didn't even acknowledge that his handler was on the stage, as you see her out there. It was dry and ashy, with no charisma that came from him. You're looking at it, because I recorded it last night. And that's all he did the whole night was walk around. He had no diddy bop to him at all. He tried to do a little something, but it looked like somebody had to stick up his ass hardcore last night, because he was just so stiff. Look at Gucci over here in the yellow. I mean, energy. That's how the crowd reacts based off the performer. Okay, if you go to any concert, and especially if you pay them for it, Steve Harvey said one time on the Kings of Comedy, he said it was either him or Bernie Mac that made the comment about, you got 15 niggas on stage and everybody running around with the mic in their mouth yelling, you can barely understand them. And, at least they gave you something. This dude last night didn't give nobody anything. Look at it. I mean, and look at her. She looked plastic. I mean, if that's supposed to have been his hype man, she wasn't doing a very good job either. This was terrible. Completely terrible. Look over here on the left. And y'all, okay, I'll put it to you like this. If y'all think that's the new Gucci over here on the right, and that's what y'all want to get behind and support, and y'all gonna go see him live, and that's all he gonna do is walk around with his handler on stage with him, and he gonna wear these Michael Jackson sequence jackets, I really think they're trying to transform him to go after a whiter audience, more Caucasian, more diverse audience, to make him look more commercial. Okay, the Gucci over here on the left is the one we all know. You ain't even got to be a big fan of him. All you got to do is just do the research. Go on YouTube and check it out. See the big difference between the two. I mean, look at this dude over here on the right. Ain't nothing there. All night. That's what he did all night for damn near 3 hours. He did nothing. Look at the crowd. I mean, how can you get excited about somebody walking back and forth on the stage? No energy. Okay. Some folks in there was, you know, the real super brainwashed Gucci fans. You know, y'all Pokemon Gucci fans, y'all. That's y'all. Okay. But the comment section, they was lighting his ass up last night. They said the crowd looked dry, which it was. Some of y'all watching this that was actually there. I think it's going to be 50-50. Some of y'all like baked chicken. Some of y'all like fried chicken. So I think some of y'all may say, we was there. It was exciting. It was hype. You know, but I can't tell looking at the crowd. Again, the only time they got live is when Drake and 2 Chainz came out. That's it. You go back and look at some of Gucci's older performances when he was on stage. I mean, it's night and day. As I was going through the list here showing you, I'm going to show you another performance of his. Okay, the swag's still the same. Even though he wasn't known, most rappers don't get up stage and perform and do what R&B artists do, but at least they got some kind of characterism about themselves. At least they, you know, put on something for you. As you see him over here to the left, I mean, he got some movement. He don't look like a zombie up here. That's what he looked like. He looked like he was zombitized. So if you sober is what he want to go with, that last interview he just did, and he clear-headed, don't you think he'd have gave you some more energy? Maybe he need to drink a few Red Bull drinks before he come out and perform, because last night it was just awful. Look at him over here to the left. Look at all this. Look at the swag he got. The crowd was more into. Crowd was hyped up because he was hyped up. You know, so I mean, he had a bounce to him back then. Now he ain't got no bounce at all. I mean, it was one complete boring ass concert last night, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, the only time you see him sweating right there is because the lights was on him. I mean, you can't be sweating walking around doing nothing. Hadn't been for them lights on him. Completely terrible. Now let me show you. Let me fast forward this. Let me show you when Drake. Well, this may not be the video, but when Drake and 2 Chainz came out, it was a completely different look to the show. Completely different look. As you can see, look when they saved the show for him. To be honest, they saved the show. So what I think what happened last night, to be honest with y'all, it was a burial. They buried Gucci last night. Instead of a homecoming party, it was a homegoing service. Just like you go to a funeral and people celebrating the death of a loved one. You know, that's what they did last night. They buried him. And they're going to push this stiff Gucci man out there for y'all to look at, wearing Michael Jackson sequence jackets. Okay? If that's the new Gucci y'all want to support, y'all have at it. And then the whole night, they had him, you know, pantomizing, you know, over his old music. So he had that mic in his hand up to his mouth so tough, so that way you couldn't tell when he was screwing up the words. I mean, Milli Vanilli all over again. Okay, that's what it is. You know, if you want to do a song, do the instrumental without the old Gucci's voice in the background. I mean, this was an epic burial last night, guys. I mean, some of y'all, you know, it's 50-50. Some of y'all understand what I'm saying. Some of y'all just gonna go with it that this the new. I mean, y'all really gonna support this? This is like a what you call that, man? When you go and sing karaoke, that's what this is like. That's what he looked like. Just, you know, karaoke. Look how stiff he walking. Look how stiff he moving for him to be sober. He should have more energy than that. With them Egyptian Kemetic crosses on, with the Christian cross on, that's contradictory all in itself. Kemetic folks don't believe in the Bible. And the cross, Jesus, the Roman crucifixion, he got, and it's, I mean, you would think that he came out with some new jewelry like Gucci normally do. I mean, just look at it. It's terrible. But anyway, I'm gonna end it on that. And y'all have at it, cause that's all I need to see. You know, I told you so. You know, he gonna bury himself just by bringing himself out there with no energy, no nothing. His handler out there. I mean, complete trash last night. Complete and utter garbage.